With this video, we will be doing a new lawsuit accusing Diddy of messing with a 17-year-old girl. And if you want to help this channel and the content that we're making, please help support our merchandise. The link is in the description. And if you didn't hit the like button, make sure to hit the like button. Try and get the channel to grow. And the only way we're going to do this if you like, share, and comment on the content. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's go. Chi, get the yayo.
Get the yayo.
Get ready. Y'all get ready.
Yes, you get ready.
Get ready. She got the tea.
If you want the latest
news,
join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends.
Lovely Tea TV. Yeah. Lovely Tea, that's her name. No, she got subscribe to the channel.
Hey tea sippers, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing good today. So there is a lot more dirt coming out about Diddy. This entire situation is crazy. So what we're going to do is kind of do like we did last time when I scrolled through the documents, and I'm going to read a lot of specific parts. Now, one of the things that you guys will notice as I start this scroll is that on this lawsuit that was filed by young Jane Doe, it says Jane Doe plaintiff versus Sean Combs, Harvey Pierre, the third assailant, Diddy's House Recordings, Inc., Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, Inc. as well. Now, if you guys notice, this also has a trigger warning. And what's very interesting about this was the same trigger warning that was on Cassie's statement, okay? It says, trigger warning, this document contains highly graphic information of a sexual nature, including sexual assault. On top of that, the same lawyer that is defending this Jane Doe is also the same lawyer that Cassie used to get her settlement in 24 hours. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, but it makes sense. If this lawyer just got Cassie settlement in 24 hours, I'm going to get that same lawyer to get my settlement in 24 hours. Why not?
At this point, like, she's going to win just off the straight. Like,
it's a lawyer. Facts.
They just go on to talk about that in the first 2 pages. So I'm going to go down to where the story starts. So around line 6, it says here, specifically in 2003, when she was only 17 years old and in the 11th grade, Miss Doe was sex trafficked in...
You got to pay off the fact that it says 17 and in the 11th grade. That you just got... You don't want this in the court.
As soon as you see that, it's over.
I mean, you just got to go ahead and...
11th grade sounds like some bullshit.
Gotta go ahead and hit her.
Ganged ard by Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre and a third assailant. In short, when she was a teenager, Miss Doe met Mr. Pierre and the third assailant in a lounge in Detroit, Michigan. Then they also go on to state on line 18, in 2003, Miss Doe was a 17-year-old 11th grader residing in the suburb of Detroit, Michigan. At the time, Mr. Combs, who was 34 years old, twice the age of Miss Doe, and one of the most well-known and influential music artists of all time. A decade later, Mr. Combs founded Bad Boys and installed his lifelong friend, Mr. Pierre, into the role of the president.
Wow.
At the time, Mr. Combs had many connections in Michigan, including, among others, to the Black Mafia family, a.k.a.
BMF. You be watching BMF on Stars?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't got into it.
Oh, you definitely gotta check that out. But the lawyer's doing a good job, just from what I'm seeing. Everything's laid out. Like, you really can't really go against it the way they gotta lay it out.
He saw the shit and was like, go ahead and take that out of my account.
I see a settlement coming soon. I see a settlement coming real soon. This lawyer right here know what they doing.
But what I don't understand is, like, it's just always famous men like that. Just, like, you can have really any female you want. Yeah. And then the fact that you even have to, like, rape or, like, do anything belligerent to any women is just crazy to me. Like,
it just lets you know about the industry that they're in. Facts.
We'll be quiet on that.
BMF, a drug trafficking and money laundering organization that is rumored to have seeded Bad Boy. Oh, my gosh. This is getting deep, y'all. This is some, you know what I'm saying, DEA type stuff. Accordingly, upon information and belief that Mr. Combs' associates, including Mr. Pierre and the third assailant, spent significant time in and around Detroit, Michigan. On one evening between the spring and fall of 2003, Miss Doe was out with friends. It was not uncommon for her and her friends to frequent bars and lounges in the Detroit area. A certain of Miss Doe's friends were...
Never mind.
If I say why she's like doing
In that area, like, yeah,
I mean, when I heard that, I'm
environment.
pretty sure her and her friends are what we consider
Go out.
baddies.
Yeah.
They're not your regular females. They all pretty.
Right.
They all, so they go out because they already know they're gonna attract attention.
They just so happen to get the attention of this nasty nigga.
Right. Facts.
were well connected to people in the music industry. On the evening in question, Miss Doe was with her friends in the lounge when she was approached by who she later learned was Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre was with his own friends, including the third assailant.
Hold up. Regardless to if she's 17 and even out, that should have never happened.
What
Like,
you mean?
regardless, she's 34 years old. Like, you can tell the energy of people. Like, nigga,
Right.
like, this girl is probably young. Like,
Facts.
the fact that
It's
he
not
didn't
probably
just pick it
young.
up-
She is young.
Exactly. Just based off how she acts. I'm 27 years old. I don't think, like, you can read the room.
Right.
And that's just disgusting. So,
Facts.
Mr. Pierre and the third assailant and their friends were dressed in suits. Mr. Pierre repeatedly complimented Miss Doe's appearance, saying that she was hot amongst other things.
He complimented her appearance, said she was hot. Just from the description I told you, there's a bunch of pretty girls, like probably the top little young girls in Detroit. I knew they wasn't your regular. You don't get a millionaire attention by being regular. You get what I'm saying? So I already knew you had to be probably top little young girls in Detroit. They came with suits. They complimented her, but I'm not surprised about the compliment because we're getting to this because it started with a compliment.
and then he just took it and ran with that.
I mean, we don't know. We about to find out. This lawyer laid out everything
like,
step
my whole
by
thing
step.
is, like, with this type of situation, you already know, like, it's gonna be like he's not gonna win out of this, and I'm glad that he's not. No, I love P Diddy, but
I'm doing a countdown.
music wise,
I'm doing a countdown for the settlement. Facts.
that part.
This just came out yesterday.
You wanna do a bet?
It just came out yesterday. I don't even know if it's settled yet, but we're gonna find out if it's settled. But to put everything in perspective, yesterday Diddy just put out on his Instagram story that a lot of people's coming from his name. They're trying to ruin his legacy, and he said
That's what they will all say, though.
and he said he's gonna fight to prove his name. So I want to see if he's gonna fight this or is he gonna settle it? Because you just told us yesterday.
A settlement's like, for me, any type of settlement's like, okay, I don't even want to argue about this.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it seems like. Like, I don't even want to argue about it. It's too much against me.
Facts.
But then it also seems like you're kind of like, okay, I did that. Like, it's kind of like a give-in settlement sometimes.
The shot clock has started. Let's see.
He then began talking about his self-described best friend and brother, Mr. Combs. Specifically, Mr. Pierre continually stated that Mr. Combs would love to meet Miss Doe. Mr. Pierre eventually called Mr. Combs and put Miss Doe on the line. Mr. Combs told Miss Doe that he would love to meet her and that she should accompany Mr. Pierre to New York City on a private jet.
Hold up. Hold up, because why did I read more into the document before it read? Okay. I just see after he finished smoking crack.
Let's just keep
I know.
I didn't read that yet, so I only want to get to that.
Go ahead.
But
I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
I was onto the part where it said he put her on a private plane because we know most females, especially from Detroit, it's lower financial situations there.
So you think like the income wise, it like
if you put her on a private plane, she probably her first private plane.
She's probably like, excited and stuff. It's like a bait with females and with women.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful about that type of stuff. Like, women, period, we have to be careful about, like, Ubers and just anything because it's just a crazy world now. Like,
yeah. And that's why I like that you're here so you can give us that female perspective that I could never give. And I'm glad that you're here because you could see it from the female perspective. And it's dope that you could actually give us that insight.
Okay.
Thereafter, Mr. Pierre directed Miss Doe to go with him into the bathroom at the lounge.
Wow.
Once inside, Mr. Pierre began to smoke crack cocaine from what it appeared to be.
See, that's what you was talking about. Like, wow.
I'm just saying, that was the first thing I was saying. I'm like, crack.
I mean, it's like, to me, I'm just, like, if I'm in that situation, I just met a female, I don't think it's attractive to smoke crack in front of you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The -3 cool points.
Yeah, it's like, that's how I would look at it. So, I mean, I just let you know about the lifestyle that you think that this is even appropriate to do in front of a female. You feel what I'm saying?
Nobody's attracted to a man just smoking crack.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
What's wrong with it? But damn, that's your twist.
Once inside, Mr. Pierre began to smoke crack cocaine from what it appeared to be an aluminum can. Wow. After he finished smoking crack, Mr. Pierre suddenly...
We all know about that trick, the aluminum can. Yeah, the aluminum can, put a little hole in it. Something they put at the top so it don't drop in, and I already know about that. I was trying
to smoke some bud when I was younger, maybe, and didn't have no blunts, maybe.
It's crazy. It's crazy. This is crazy, but it's glad that we actually... get to see inside the industry from the outside. Most of the time, we're from the outside looking in, but when you get stuff like this, you're from the inside looking out, and it's nice we actually get to see like how it's actually being presented.
Right. And it's crazy to have their exact court documents. She's going like line for line.
Yeah, this lawyer.
Line 26.
This lawyer's a good lawyer. And if anybody else had a problem, they're gonna go get this lawyer from what I see.
It's crazy, but in this generation, it's like, the internet can pick shit apart. Like literally, like facts. The internet will pick something apart.
Yeah, they're like lawyers.
Pretty much, they're pretty much like a lawyer.
They
like, I have the internet on my side.
They solving cases before the lawyers do it nowadays.
That part.
Took out his penis and demanded that Miss Doe suck his peen and force Miss Doe's head down to perform oral sex on him.
That's why you gotta be careful about going to another state, somewhere you're not from. He knows she's not from here. You don't have any people here. You don't really have nobody to defend you.
That's what most men that are like this do, though. Like most men that are just predators. Yeah. Not even just men. There are women predators as well. Right. Not to be biased or anything like that, but... Right. They prey on people that they find their weaknesses, stuff like that. Like, it's fucked up. And that's crazy. Yeah, she's all the way far away from home.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy.
After sexually assaulting Miss Doe, Mr. Pierre directed her to accompany him and the third assailant, a third member of their group, to an airport in Pontiac, Michigan, where Signature, a fixed-base operator, had prepared a private jet to take all four of them to New York City. Upon information and belief, the private jet landed in Teterboro Airport. Upon departing the jet, 2 black SUVs were awaiting the group. Wow. Miss Doe got into the SUV with Mr. Pierre and the third assailant, and the other member of the group went into the second SUV. The SUV brought the group to Daddy's house recording studio owned and operated.
Hold up. Wow. Why do they keep saying Daddy's house instead of Diddy? Is it Diddy?
No, that was the name of the studio. It was because it's called Daddy's house. It's the name of his studio.
All right, slowness. Sorry.
Operated by Mr. Combs and Bad Boy. While at the studio, Mr. Combs and his associates, including Mr. Pierre, plied Miss Doe with drugs and alcohol. Wow. As the night wore on, the 17-year-old Miss Doe...
That's what you keep hearing in this case is a lot of like drugs, alcohol. Cassie said she was forced to take drugs. I don't know if you've seen the interview of Mark Curry. He's a former Bad Boy artist. On Art of Dialogue, he had an interview and he was saying like when they went to the clubs, they would buy Moet bottles. Half of the Moet bottles would be full with Molly for the females, and the other half would be just regular Moet bottles.
Are you serious?
Yes. So he said everybody on Bad Boy knew just to fuck with these bottles that was strictly Moet, and they would let the females that was in the club fuck with the bottles with Molly. Then after they would get drunk off the Molly, he said Diddy would come through and the females would have their mouth open, and he would throw an E-pill in each of their mouths.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I seen this like yesterday. That's why we covering this. Kind of know the backstory of it. And this
I'm not gonna lie. Just because you go to the club, I was like 16, like getting in the club, fake ID with my brothers and stuff. Like, just because there's females in the club, like I would still check that out. Yeah. Like, how old are you? Let me see your ID. Yeah. Like, I think you should ask females for their ID when you go out, or like even men. Like, how old are you? Yeah. And if you have any thought in your mind that you don't know, should they probably ask?
And that story goes with 50 Cent posted today, and I'm pretty sure you didn't see it. He posted Rick Ross and P. Diddy in a picture together. And on the picture, he had a caption of, I put Molly on all in her champagne. She ain't even know it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's what they was talking about with Mark Curry, saying the bottles would be filled of Moet with Molly. So, and then Rick Ross was talking about in that song, you know, him and P. Diddy is like, so it's just all just coming out and you getting a full picture of actually what be going on.
Doe became more and more inebriated, and eventually to the point that she could not possibly have consented to having sex with anyone, much less someone twice her age. Wow. While at the studio, Miss Doe was gang raped by Mr. Combs and a third assailant, Mr. Pierre, in that order. While Mr. Combs was raping Miss Doe, he complained that he...
We complained about what? You're raping somebody. What did you possibly complain about?
Yo, you never want your name beside the word rape. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just seeing like, Better go ahead and settle.
It seems like they're going to settle for sure.
Could not get off unless she pinched his nipples as hard as she could. What the hell?
Damn.
Okay. This is my first time reading.
Words out my mouth. What the hell?
They got all the receipts.
Big receipts. What? I have to pinch your nipples. Get the fuck off me.
This is crazy. This is wild.
I have to bleep some of those out.
This is wild. Because us as a public, we look at it like, yo, you guys is millionaires. You don't have to resort to none of this type of stuff. You have all the money. You have all the jewelry. You have all the Bentleys. You have all the mansions. You have all the private jets.
But to say that any woman is just attracted to that. But it is true. It's sad, but it is true. A lot of women want, like, okay, I want a man that can do this for me, that for me, that for me. So pretty sure, like, you know, seeing, oh, this is a famous, somebody that's famous, it kind of like baffles their mind. But at no point is it okay. Like, yes is yes, no is no. Simple as that. Like, and it's just crazy that, like, you know, she's a pretty girl, but it's like you could get so many pretty girls that are going to say yes and that are of age. Right. So it's just crazy that this is even happening. Like, and I love Diddy. Puffy was like, you know,
it was that man to us.
Definitely that man
coming up, and you think he would never have to resort to this, but it's seeming like he was resorting to it, which is crazy to think about.
This in Daddy's house.
And this obviously. Mr. Combs then watched as the third assailant, who Miss Doe had not even realized had begun to have sex with her, raped Miss Doe, and she told him to stop. After the third assailant was finished, Mr. Pierre took his turn at raping Miss Doe and then violently forcing her to give him more oral sex, during which Miss Doe was choking and struggling to breathe. When Mr. Pierre was finished, he left Miss Doe in the bathroom alone. Miss Doe fell into a fetal position laying on the floor. Her vagina was in pain. Finally...
This is like a crazy story, and I have daughters, so when I think about these stories and I'm listening to this, I have to put myself in a position if that's with my daughter, and this right here is just crazy to have to just to have to sit here and just listen to what happened. Like, I knew that they said it was an accusation, but I didn't know it was all of this.
No, this I'm sorry, this is nasty. Yeah. And it's kind of disturbing. Really, honestly, it is very disturbing. Not kind of, but it's very disturbing. Very disturbing. Honestly, I don't even have anything to say about it because
it's crazy.
After a period of time, Miss Doe regained her bearings. However, she could barely stand up following the gang rape and had to be helped to walk out of the building and back into a car. Crazy. She was taken back to the airport and flown back to Michigan. Oh my gosh. Wow. However,
so hold up. So they did all that and then flew her back to Michigan?
Made her take the walk of shame by herself, put her on a private plane, and got her out.
No, as a woman and being, you know, only 27 years old, like, there's a lot of experiences where it's kind of like some people like, oh, you put yourself in that situation. That's where the weird shit comes in, you know, like with people's opinions of women that are, you know, victims of this, because it's not like, oh, it's your fault, because it's not like, you know what I'm saying, like, no is no. Like, you can tell somebody doesn't want that, and I'm saying, who asked for that? Right. So it's just crazy, and, you know, definitely feel bad for a lot of people that have even had to experience anything like this.
Yeah, I was like listening to this story when they put it like this. It's almost seemed like that was the norm. She was like one of many. She's not the only female with this story. There's probably hundreds and thousands of females with the same exact story, because how they did it to them was like, it seemed like it was almost normal to them. This is just what we do, which is crazy.
She has very limited recollection of the transportation home. Damn. Only remembers being in a car sometime early in the morning. Unlike many of the victims who have come forward after decades, Miss Doe can prove that she not only met Mr. Combs on the night in question, but he was in his studio in New York City with him on that night. Remember, when viewing these, Miss Doe is 17 years old. And this is...
And they're letting P. Diddy lawyers know, not only are we're not just making accusations, we actually got proof to prove this. Right. If you want to take it to court, we're just letting you know, we're not just spewing stuff. We have the receipts and we can actually prove this in court. Your best bet is not to take this to court, because we letting you know we got the proof.
Right.
This is how we dressed in the early 2000s. You know, the short mini skirts with the belt. She got on a Dolce & Gabbana top. Right. Like, you can tell this was taken back then, even the quality.
What is the significance of even, like, describing? It doesn't matter what she had on. Like, I don't understand.
No, she just letting and her case letting people know that I was with Diddy. I'm not making stuff up. These are our pictures.
Okay.
Because she said it happened in the studio, and then a lawyer gave you pictures of her in the studio to let people know what type of evidence we're coming to court
the reason
with.
I say that is because, you know, a lot of times with this type of situation and like when this certain things happen, it's just like they're like, oh well, she was wearing a short dress or she was like this, that, and the third.
Yeah, I know
so
what you're
it's like,
saying.
what's the point of saying like describe anything she has on? It doesn't matter. Like that's
yeah,
where I was coming with
it doesn't matter. But the most important part is it's like, you know that most of the time people will be like, you don't even know Diddy, you're making this up. No, I got pictures. I'm right here sitting on his lap. I know him very well.
Of the film, this is definitely how he dressed in the early 2000s. So she was definitely at Diddy's house, at the studio, excuse me. Then they go on to say Miss Doe had lived with the memories of that fateful night for 20 years, during which she suffered extreme emotional duress that impacted nearly every aspect. Miss Doe's face has been blurred in the following pictures for the purpose of anonymity. Wow. In her life and personal relationships, given that brave women who come forward against Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre in recent weeks, Miss Doe is doing the same. To that end, Miss Doe brings this attention-seeking, injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against the defendants in violations of the Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Act NYC Amendment Code 10-1101. They also go on to say that Miss Jane Doe is a citizen of Canada. The defendant, Sean Combs, is a citizen of California.
I didn't know that.
Defendant Harley Pierre is a citizen of New York. The defendant, the third assailant, upon information, is a citizen of the state of New York. So then in line 48 on page...
This is crazy. It's like what they say was done in the dark will come to the light. And that's like what we're seeing right now, which is crazy.
Popcorn good.
Is it? You fucking a lot.
So bored.
Now go ahead, you better get your munch on.
Page 10, they go on to say Miss Doe knew that speaking out against the defendant would be extremely difficult and that she'd be likely subjected to retaliation and defamatory slurs and attacks. However, in November 2023, Miss Doe read about...
Because people be like...
That's some scary shit.
Yeah, because like, you know, a lot of people like to say, like, this happened so long ago, why you just now saying something? She's saying I didn't say nothing because I was afraid to say something.
And with sad cases, that's how most black families are. A lot of people don't like to, you know, acknowledge that, but even not just black. Let's not make it race like priority, but a lot of families like they just ignore that stuff and it's not okay. But it's crazy. Like that's crazy. I feel like I don't even have any feelings towards it for how she may feel. Like it's just ridiculous that she had to go through that amount of time to even just get any type of closure or feel like I'm confident to tell anybody. You know?
Facts. Yeah, I feel you.
About a lawsuit filed against Mr. Combs by Cassandra Ventura, aka Cassie. Miss Ventura's suit described a decade of physical and mental abuse. Most triggering for Miss Doe was reading about Miss Ventura.
Can I say something like with the remember it was like somebody and it's like maybe like 2 days ago I saw it on my news feed like on like Facebook or Instagram, something like that, and they were like, yeah, Cassie's video where she was declaring her love for P. Diddy, and this is like shortly after this first came out that he was having all these accusations. So I feel like it's crazy because they will really defend like the opposite side of what's right and what's wrong, and we have to understand what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
Always.
And it's just crazy that people will really defend to the bone, like, yo, like maybe she did this, or it's like there's no defending this. Like for me personally, there's no defending this.
At
like
all.
It's obvious, and I hate it. I love Bill Cosby. I used to watch Nick at Night. Like I love the Bill Cosby show, but when I found out stuff about Bill Cosby, I'm like, some R. Kelly shit. Like I love R. Kelly, but that nigga snapped. Like he's doing the most.
Yeah, facts.
Rich as fuck, and then just.
That's what you be thinking. You be like, you have all the money. Why do you gotta resort
everything?
To
you have the money, the power, the fame,
everything,
and you're out here taking it. It's given to you 247. Like
regular guys is getting it, so we don't think y'all resorting to that. You feel what I'm saying?
The regular niggas is getting it.
Towards allegations of sex trafficking and being forced to have sex with other men against her will.
That's true.
Miss Doe obviously understands that she too had been sex.
Oh, that's what I meant to say, and that's good because all the stuff is being tied into Cassie because you know they got the same lawyer as Cassie, so it only makes sense that that lawyer would tied like, yo, he already got accusations of this. He already been
Cassidy.
I mean Cassie, my fault, but Cassie and her got the same lawyer, so it only makes sense he would tie that stuff into this because he already been not proven, but he already settled on stuff like this
against the same person, right?
Yeah.
Traffic, and that Mr. Combs' behavior in forcing women into non-consensual sex was not an isolated incident or unique.
I'm gonna pause it one more time just to say this. This man went out with his son's girlfriend,
the Harvey,
like Lori Harvey.
Yeah.
What?
It says a lot.
If you date somebody that your child dated, it's just giving a little strange to me.
Showing a pattern.
Yeah, like you like the young girls.
Facts.
And then he's just giving it away for himself, not helping yourself in court, Diddy.
That's crazy.
Not.
Only to Miss Ventura. Then days later, Miss Doe read about the case filed against Mr. Pierre and the suit that alleged that Mr. Pierre used his position of power at Bad Boy to groom and sexually assault his former assistant. Seeing two other women bravely speak out against Mr. Combs and Mr. Pierre, respectively, gave Miss Doe the confidence to tell her story as well.
And that's just the Lori tying it in because it go back to what I was saying, that people want to try to say, why did you wait so long to tell your story?
They always do that, and I hate that.
And that's just her going into like other people. I've seen other people come out with their story. That gave me the confidence to come out with my story. And shouts out her for coming out to the story because it's not an easy thing to do.
It's definitely not.
As such, she filed this suit. Once again, as you guys see at the bottom, the lawyer is Douglas H. Woodger, who was the same man who took down Harvey Weinstein, who is the same man that got Cassie Ventura that huge settlement in less than 24 hours. So she definitely has a good team behind her. This whole situation is crazy. Now, Diddy is speaking out. So Diddy is definitely speaking out about the situation. And I'm going to read to you guys what Diddy had to say. He says, enough is enough.
Exactly.
For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Damn. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of these awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Sean Diddy Combs. Now, my issue is this, okay?
What's your issue?
Even if these folks are clout chasing, he needs to understand that he basically allowed the ball to get rolling for them to clout chase. Remember, he went and he settled his case against Cassie within 24 hours. So that opened up the floodgates. Because if you're not even willing to fight, first you said you were innocent, then 24 hours later you settled. That threw all innocence out the window because once they do the discovery and they go through, years of messages, and I'm sure Cassie had so many receipts, it would have destroyed his empire. So for him, it was smarter to settle.
And listen what she's saying about the receipts and stuff. Like, it's 2023. Like, like maybe back in the 2000s. I remember I was in like elementary school, maybe like second, third grade when even YouTube came out.
Right.
So, and it was freaking Fred on there and stuff. Right. But like the fact that, technology allows you to even have the proof and evidence that you need from that many years ago, it's supporting documents.
Yeah, definitely. This is just crazy just to sit back and just hear all this stuff. And it's like, when you hear this, it almost reminds you of the Michael Jackson situation where Michael Jackson was first accused.
He was trying to get my boy.
But he said the worst mistake he made in his life was selling in that first one. Because time he settled it, because he said he had a bunch of tours and stuff, and the producer was like, go ahead and settle. You don't have time for this. We got a tour you need to be on. We don't need you in court.
That's why he settled?
That's why he settled, because the people around him told him that was the best thing for him to do.
Even though he knew that he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
That goes back to what I was saying earlier, though.
It's like almost like when a female in the industry get pregnant. The label and stuff gonna tell you, we don't got time for this, baby. We got stuff we gotta do. You gotta be over here. We got world tours planned for you. We don't have time for you and this baby right now.
You're gonna lose this amount of money if you have this baby.
And it's the same thing they was telling Michael Jackson. You got tours and stuff. You need to be over here. We don't have time for this. Go ahead and make this payment so we can keep continuing with our life. And what he did, he said he think that was the worst thing that happened to him. And it sounded like that's what Diddy. That he made that first settlement, and now the floodgates is now open because you settled.
But not even the floodgates. It's just like they had the confidence. I'm glad they had the confidence, and
receipts.
They're like, okay, somebody did, because again, like Diddy's a big person. He's a big influencer on the music, the rap industry, just like the culture. Period.
Facts.
He has a big influence. So
Facts.
It's just like, like, I'm glad that one person did speak out, Cassie spoke out, and now they feel like, okay, now I can say something. In some stances, people be like, okay, they waited, and now all of a sudden all these people want to come out. And I can see both sides. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if it's what happened, and if a woman's saying this is what happened, that's what happened.
Right.
But again, there are some people that kind of like, fake the funk and will take advantage of what's going on.
Facts.
So he needs to understand that he brought this on himself. And I'm not just talking about his sexual exploits, because what he does in his bedroom, that's really none of my business. But let's talk about what we can see publicly, because I can't see what goes on in his bedroom. Right. But publicly, the way that Diddy has treated people, his artists, people who came up with him, people who helped him build his empire that he has today, and the fact that only him and his family are eating, and everybody else is either dead, gone, died, broke, you know what I'm saying, have to fight him for publishing. Facts. He didn't even offer up publishing until he had already sold the majority of the popular publishing. Then he wanted to offer his former artists basically scraps. Right. So my thing is this.
I'm just going with what she was saying, that he offers artists scraps. The girl from Danny Decane, I think her name was Aubrey. The white girl that was in Danny Decane. She said the royalties is worth like $900 a year.
The royalties?
Yes, that he gave them back. Some of the members signed it, but she said she didn't sign it because it was only worth $900. Not only was it worth $900 a year, not only was it worth that, but it was like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 members in that group. So you got to split that between
$900 split
a year.
Hey, tripping.
That's why she didn't sign it. I don't know if you've been hearing it.
That shit either.
But she's been talking a lot on social media. I don't know if you've been in tune with that, but she's been talking a lot, and she said she didn't sign it, and she was saying a lot of this stuff that other people were saying. She said that stuff was like passes was made at her. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, we're not gonna further your career. Right. So it's a lot just going on. A lot of people just speaking right now, and it goes back to what we said.
Look at in between the lines of that statement.
Yeah, it's like what we're saying was done in the dark will eventually come to light, and a lot of stuff right now is coming to the light.
Who have treated people horribly over the past 30 years. Okay, so you caused this to happen. Right. You allowed the floodgates to open up by treating Cassie horribly, by treating Kim horribly, by treating Misa horribly, by treating Gene Deal and Mark Curry, Mace, and so many other people, the Danny Decane girls, making of the band. You treated these people horribly. Freddie P. Okay? And now the chickens are coming home to roost. So I don't feel bad for him. Now he wants to fight for his name, his family, his legacy. That is because the checks are running low. Everybody's backing up off of Diddy. If you guys don't know, Diageo, the liquor company, they're begging once again the judge to block Toxic Diddy from their new ads. And these ads, from what I'm hearing, are worth close to $15 million. And so they're very upset about this situation. So this is what Diageo is saying.
And you see where they're upset about? It's not they're upset about what he's being accused of. They're upset because they're losing money. Fact. The industry is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, you're upset about money, but you're not the person that you're sponsoring and that you're putting out there for your company. It's like, we're losing some bread. Like,
15 million.
I mean, 15 billion is a lot, but that's a person. You look at how the company is viewed. Then you're viewed like you support rapists.
They just care about their bottom line, and that's it.
Sickening.
Diageo says that Sean Diddy Combs has become too toxic in the wake of 3 sexual assault lawsuits filed against him, and this was yesterday. So they weren't even ready for this new lawsuit that just came out today. It would be unfair for a judge to grant his request for control over an incoming $15 million marketing budget from De Leon Tequila. In a new letter to the court obtained by Rolling Stone, Diageo says Combs' plan to plaster his face on new ads for their premium spirits would be devastating.
It was like, you are not plastering your face on anything right now. Not right now. That's not going to help us.
You got some bad feedback.
You got some stuff you need to take care of, and us with your face on it right now.
After.
It's not the look. This is crazy. He should understand that, though.
That's a business perspective. Like,
nah, your face right now is
not good, my guy.
That's like right now putting Bill Cosby's face name on Jell-O. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Jell-O.
The disturbing allegations against Mr. Combs set forth in these lawsuits underscore that any De Leon campaign featuring Mr. Combs would compound and amplify the harm that he has already caused to De Leon. Wow. Diageo's lawyers write to Justice.
They say you already did enough. We don't need any more damage from you as far as this comes. We don't want our brand next to you at all, which is crazy.
No, it's honestly, it's crazy and it's not crazy at the same time. Like, nigga, you did the most, bro. Like, you did the freaking most. You knew this happened and you gonna sponsor our company.
Right.
Boy, move around. We're not trying to pay you.
It's crazy. Nah,
we
we don't want nothing to do with you right now.
Joel M. Cohen of New York County Supreme Court, a letter dated December 1st requiring Diageo to pay for such a campaign would be devastating to the brand and to Diageo more broadly. A major De Leon theme party in Atlanta was canceled after Cassie's news broke. Then Diddy reportedly was dropped by the charter school in Harlem that he co-founded after the two lawsuits followed. Mr. Combs is well aware that these lawsuits make it impossible for him to continue to be the face of anything. Diageo's lawyers wrote. It would be unfair and beyond reason to require Diageo to deepen its association with Mr. Combs concerning De Leon when so many others are fleeing his now toxic image.
And that make complete sense because when Diddy signed his contract with this liquor store, they had to make they had obligation in the contract they had to fulfill with Diddy that they had to do X, Y, and Z by certain date or they would default in the contract. So it makes sense that they putting this out like, we're going to default on this contract, but it's not our fault that we're defaulting on this contract. We have to default on this because X, Y, and Z. Because if they don't spend this $15 million, I'm pretty sure it was in the contract that you guys got to spend $15 million on this contract. And they know they have to spend that $15 million, but they saying we're not going to spend $15 million and we're letting you know why we're not spending this $15 million. It doesn't make sense to spend $15 million on a campaign just to have his face on it when we're not gonna make any money with it with his face on it. It doesn't make sense.
So it's getting real out here. Now, another thing that's very interesting and disturbing is that Mark Curry and Gene Deal have been recalling a lot of incidences, and some of them to me are, it kind of makes them a little bit complicit as well. There was a one where Mark Curry was talking about how Diddy and them would like spike Moet bottles and tell the guys, don't touch those, but touch those, and then go around giving girls pills. There was another instant, I believe Gene Deal was talking about how Diddy threatened Danity Kane and basically said if they don't do what he wants them to do, he's going to drug them up and pimp them out and have them fuck all of his homeboys. Kind of like what this woman is alleging in the lawsuit. So there's a...
He didn't tell the girls that, but he did tell Gene Dean that, who was his security, when they got on. He said, man, I'm just going to get these bitches drunk and I'm going to pimp them out to my boys. She making it seem like he said it to them. He said it to his security. You know how homeboys talk, but that's what he said to him.
That's still some bullshit.
It definitely is some bullshit. I just want to put it in its proper perspective. He didn't say it to them. How she's saying it.
There's a lot of just really nefarious, demonic shit going on, in this whole camp. I want you guys to go ahead and watch these videos right here.
It's the same thing that he gave to all his artists when he gave them their publishing back.
Escape the mundane with Philo.
When he gave him his publishing back, they had to sign NDAs.
I'm going to give y'all publishing, but y'all can't talk about Janice Combs, Justin Combs, Sony, Bad Boy, or anything that happened.
None of that.
Y'all can't talk about none of that. But there's some artists that didn't say anything, that didn't sign it, and they able to talk about anything they want to.
NSA, like a non-disclosure.
And I think that's those girls that was
Danity Kane, Aubrey, and D Woods didn't sign it. I don't know if you remember them.
I think a couple of them didn't sign it. And boy, oh boy,
they talking.
They probably gonna go after him too.
Aubrey and D Woods.
Because I heard him, and I'm giving you this, Aubrey. He stood up there and he said in front of a lot of people, we were in the studio. And I said something to him and walked out the studio. He said, yo, I'm going to drug their ass off and pick them up and pimp them out to my nigga.
That's crazy.
He said, I'm going to drug them out. I'm going to get them all on drugs. And I'm going to pimp their ass out to my nigga.
And I don't know if you know about the history of Bad Boy, but a lot of Bad Boy artists turned out to be hooked on drugs.
Like that yayo, the nigga was coked out.
So it's crazy that he said that, and we know for a fact a lot of the artists on Bad Boy became fiends, junkies, and hooked on drugs.
I was like, there's somebody kids and walked out. And it's somebody that heard me. It's somebody that heard me. I mean, well, it's not only somebody that heard me, it's somebody that I know who was in the studio at the time that happened, and I still talk to him today.
So when you get up, they be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles, right? Then all of the girls is in the club after a while. They all running, opening up their mouth like little birds.
Listen, that makes me feel crazy as a woman. Like, to think, like, you go out and you know, having a good time with a certain group of people, and you have to worry about, see, that's why I get my own bottles. Yeah. And nigga, I'll get drunk before we get there, because I'm not spending no $500 on a bottle. Right. But that's crazy. Yeah. Like, damn.
They should let you know what's going on out here.
Just popping pills in their mouth. Pop pill. And then that was the party. But all of the females that was in, that's what they wanted. That was...
So when I moved to LA in 2019, my ex-boyfriend was like, "You want to go to the Diddy party?" I was like, "Not Diddy. I'm saying it because we're watching it. Jamie Foxx." Okay. But like Diddy, I'm scared now. But nah. So he was like, "You want to go to this Jamie Foxx party?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like let's go." Yeah. And then we were there. We having a great time. Like after like it was like 1:00. He was like, "All right, we have to go." I'm like, "I'm trying to stay. Like having a great time." You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, "No, we have to go." Right. And I'm like, "Well, what's about the like? Why are you acting like that?" Yeah. He's like, "Because," and then I see the bitches come out, coke on the trays, naked bitches with like, you know, little nipple tassels chilling. Wow. Okay. And little do you know, nigga, they're about to turn up. There's about to be an orgy in here. Like the parties after the parties be the parties for them. Yeah. And I don't know.
He said,
down for that.
It's time to go.
Let's get up out of here.
Time to go.
It was part of the hip hop culture. We ain't see nothing wrong with it until Bill Cosby got in trouble. He did one too many.
He did too. Why he say like that?
I used to, let me tell you something.
One too many.
Brother P. Yeah. Yes, sir. Brother P. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who that?
That's my guy. My brother.
Diddy.
Always, nigga.
Oh, that's Ines.
L, nigga.
Yeah,
I'm making a band.
L, nigga. We about to turn.
Oh, that's the other guy from making a band.
Man.
Fred.
Smuggler, bro.
That's Fred from Miami.
Your name Fred.
Aaron Hall. So all I'm gonna say, I'm not doing that today. No, I'm not going there today. I'm sorry, y'all.
And it's crazy because I seen Fred on his social media. Because, you know, 50 Cent and P. Diddy always had this love-hate relationship for each other. And he was on there like, P. Diddy, he was like, 50, send me some money. Because, you know, he in Miami and P. Diddy's in Miami. He said, I'll run him about the city. Send me some money. I'll run P. Diddy about the city right now. That's crazy that they got him in here. I wonder if they're going to show that. She probably going to show that too, which is crazy.
You know what I be thinking when I see Diddy? Mm-hmm. What did Orlando Bloom say? It was there, no, Orlando Brown. He was like, he got that ush gush gush. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Yo, he got that ushy gushy.
Yo, you crazy.
Nasty.
I wonder what them boys had to do for that check. He took me, we counted.
What did they had to do for that check?
No.
Y'all ain't finna tell me this predator ain't prey on y'all and he's so friendly. Yeah, daddy. You know, come on, man. Come
I ain't trying here.
Come on, man.
I ain't going for it.
Y'all heard what he did to Ja? Busted his back wide open. You heard? I'm starting to, all these stories are true.
Ew.
I'm starting to believe it. And that shit was with Kim. That shit far-fetched. Rest in peace to that man.
That's crazy.
You gotta look at it. Even Kanye made motherfucking Big Sean a millionaire. Yeah. Even Kanye made John Legend a millionaire. Facts. Why you don't have 1 millionaire under your belt? You get what I'm saying? It's the facts, bro. You done deal with 40, 50 artists, man. And you the only one that made money. You the only one. You the only one that still survived. Jay-Z got a list of people up on there. He the only one, bro, because he don't have no talent. His talent is robbing people.
I'm starving too. I want me a piece of cheesecake.
Most of the artists that were signed to Bad Boy either end up broke, dead, in some kind of legal trouble, or they've tried their hardest to get away from Diddy. I mean, when you look at the hit records, Diddy seems great. But when you look at the track record, not so much.
All right, so you guys just saw those videos. So I go back again to what Diddy is saying, where he's upset and he's saying enough is enough. And, you know, this is all slander against me. But the problem why people can believe this, even let's say some of these girls are lying or looking for a clout chase, the reason why people can believe this is because of your character. And what people don't understand is that character is not just a word, but character is very important because it also shows who you are when nobody else is watching. When the public isn't watching you, when people don't know your day to day, how do you act behind the scenes? How do you treat people when nobody's watching, just God?
Christ is
and I remember there was an
watching.
old saying, I learned this back in high school, it was a poem or something like that, and I never forgot it. Our art teacher gave it to us, and it says, watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. Wow. I've never forgotten that. We got that from our teacher over 20-something years ago, that still sticks with me to this day. Your character and what you're forming, even if you're young, you have to watch your character because it becomes your destiny. And for a long time, he's had a shady, thieving, jealous, manipulative character. And this is why there's nobody really running to defend him, because that is who he is.
Puffy, right? His baby mom, Kim Porter, right? She got a whole lot of Tupac-related posts on her IG. Wow. She's right next to Puffy, and she's wearing the Tupac shirt. Did Tupac and Kim Porter know each other?
Bruh, all the people in the industry know at one time, Pac and Puff was like this. They was cool enough where they became enemies.
Wow.
Do you understand that?
Frenemies.
Where Pac didn't trust him no more. And where Puff idolized some of the things that he was doing.
Versace
and
shirts.
You gotta remember.
It's crazy. Yo, Gene Dilby calling out everything. She was there for it all.
They was all swingers. Something happened between them two, and I don't know what it was. And I don't know what it is that caused a friction between their relationship.
The female.
Maybe Kim liked Pac more than she liked Puff. But she couldn't have Pac. Puff took Tupac blueprint.
Versace shirts.
And changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I get around. Talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. Who was obsessed with who?
Right.
Pac had Sarah before Puff. Allegedly he had Sally before Puff. And Kim had an obsession or liked Pac so much.
That's what I never understood about guys. If you like a certain statue and you're dealing with certain females, guys want to deal with the same exact females you want to deal with, which I never understood because there's so many females in this world. There's so many pretty faces. You're never going to run out of pretty faces. So why you want to deal with somebody that I dealt with just because I dealt with them? And I never understood that. I don't want to deal with somebody.
Especially when they be your friends. And you're like, girl, I shouldn't have had to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have to tell you not to mess with somebody I dealt with. Yeah. It's definitely a weird feeling.
We got money. We could get any girl we want, but we want to deal with the same females, which is crazy. I never understood it.
She on the red carpet with Tupac shirt.
Tupac.
Because that is who he is. And I remember around Halloween when I told you guys when he was running around like the Joker, I said, this man is literally the living embodiment of the Joker. He is playing in everybody's face. That is who he really is. That whole brother love persona I've been telling y'all for years is bullshit. That is for him to fool this generation who weren't around during making of the band, who weren't around in the late 90s. We were so invested in making of the band. That's why it really hurts to see Freddie P, Elliot Ness. We seen Chopper get popped for, pimping girls out. Yeah. Babs is doing her thing. Shout out to Sis. She's a tea sipper. But it's sad that none of these people really made it. And we made them and MTV millions of dollars. Danny D. Kane, the boy band that he had. it's just sad. There's nothing to show for it. So this man's character is flawed. So I don't care what he writes on social media. This is why people are more likely to side with the clout chasers and the victims, because of how you've done people over the years. And I feel no type of ways. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the discussion pop. And I look forward to reading y'all's comments. Make sure you guys like the video. Feel free to share the video. And most importantly, make sure you still subscribe to the channel. And I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
If you want the latest
Straight
news
TV.
in the streets,
Let's
join
get
us
it.
and tune in.
Little conclusion. We should do our science project.
Into a fetal position, laying on the floor. Her vagina was in pain.
Let me get it where it's a picture instead of just paperwork. Alright, so when are you ready?
I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Start the convo, nigga.
Nah, this is you. You gonna start talking.
Alright, so yeah, like, honestly, to wrap that video up, it's just like, for me personally, it was just a lot. Like, the fact that they have so many details, and I've never really been in such a serious court situation, so I'm not familiar with how the paperwork look or like how the lawyers would lay things out, but he's definitely he has a lawsuit. He's gonna have to end up paying that tag. Yeah, definitely. Honestly, because I believe the females. Like, and it's hard not to. They said, the dude said, what's his name, the little bodyguard?
Pierre?
Yeah,
no,
Pierre.
Gene Dell. That was Gene Dell.
Yeah, he's like, he was throwing everybody mollies and whatever he said, drugs. Drugs? You have money. Why do you have to drug anybody? You can get pussy. Regular niggas get pussy. So, I don't know. Like, it's just crazy. And I really hope that the women, get the closure that they need for this situation. It's ridiculous. And P. Diddy, it's sad, again, being a Puffy fan from when I was younger to now, it's just like, shocked. Like, it's definitely shocking. That's all. That's all I have to say about this whole thing. Some shocking shit to have to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is crazy, the whole situation that's going on. It reminded me of the Jay-Z song when he said it was all good just a week ago. Because the stuff that's just coming out on him, his legacy is taking a lot of hits. At this point, I almost feel like he doesn't even have a legacy. Even the liquor companies don't even want your face on their posters. It seems like nobody want anything to do with you. You had to step down from Revolt. Just a lot going on. They saying even his kids is taking hits. Like, people don't even want to deal with the music with his kids or no movie shows. Like, nobody want to be associated with him right now.
It's a bad look.
It definitely is a bad look, and this is crazy. And as more come out, we definitely gonna cover it. But until then, it's your boy Tret TV, and I'm out.